There's just something about the end of a year and the start of a new year. It's a chance to start fresh and put all the bad stuff behind you or whatever you didn't get done in the last year. But it's also a chance to celebrate what you did accomplish and just to kind of look back and just see how actually far you've come over the year. And so I thought I'd share a little bit about what my 2025 looks like and the hopes for my 2026. I finished off at the end of 2024. I had just lost my search dog, Ellie, and I was absolutely crushed. I'd also lost my two cats. 2024 was a really, really rough year for me. But it was also another year of new beginnings because after years and years and years of dreaming about it and thinking about it, I finally found my large acreage property. And so I had finished off 2024 with getting the property purchased to go through and just looking forward to 2025 being the year of developing. I had just bought a tractor so that I could work on the land because I was going to try to do most of the stuff myself. And so 2025, when that came in, it was really going to be all about trying to develop the homestead. So how'd I do? Well, it was both better than expected and far, far, far worse than I could have ever imagined. I struggled all year. My first task, and I thought this was only going to take me a few months, but once it got warm out, I was like, all right, I got to get a driveway because I got in the shed in 2024, and I was like, I got to get a driveway into the shed. No big deal, right? And from what I was watching on YouTube University, it was you would scrape off the worst of the mud so that it changed colors, and then you would load up with 2x4 rock, and then you'd load up with crusher run. Seemed fairly straightforward. Except I have mud like I have never seen before up there. It's like this clay that just it sticks to you. There's drainage issues every which way. And everything this whole year was just a constant fight. The tractor was continually struggling with what I was asking it to do. It had so many times that it would go down, and I think a lot of it too is just I have never remotely done anything like this. I have never worked on a tractor. I've never worked on a farm. I had no clue. My doctorate is in cybersecurity, right? It's like this is like way outside my comfort zone this whole year. I do have to say that I am just so proud of myself for tackling all this. I'm not good at asking for help, and that's definitely something I want to work on a lot more in 2026. I am definitely somebody that just wants to figure it out and do it myself. And I think 2025, I did a little too much of that to the point where it just slowed my progress on the homestead tremendously because I just kept trying to do it all myself. And I think that's one of my biggest lessons coming out of 2025 is that sometimes you just can't and you got to ask for help. I just learned an absolutely tremendous amount though. I mean, even little things like I thought the tractor would be very similar to a car, and I guess in some ways it is because you're driving. But there's so much to like the angles. Like when I would first try to pick up the bucket or pick up a load with the bucket, I would hardly get anything, and I had to learn about like how you tip the bucket so that you can get more material in. Then there was all the like grading and scraping and just how to handle all the mud and how to handle all the rocks and I was working on retaining walls and I mean there was just so much and then also the gardens and stuff too. Like my garden was not very successful this year, but I got it started and I got things together in it. I planted tremendous amounts of stuff that just got overwhelmed with weeds. I bought a big spring load of plants for the actual raised bed area, thinking that I'd get soil in, I'd get a delivery of soil. And at that point, I didn't even have a driveway or anything, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll get soil dropped, so I won't have to worry about it. I just need to finish this little part of the driveway." And then the tractor broke down, and all these other things happened, and so my poor little plants, like they just had a very, very minimal amount of soil because I had to carry bag after bag after bag just to get them to have their roots covered. So it was, I mean, it wasn't great, but it was a learning experience. And I got this like massive zucchini and I got an eggplant. And so I didn't get a lot, but like I got a little. And the deer got a lot more because I hadn't finished all the fencing. So, but it's a start. It's a start. It's a beginning. It's a start. And that was really what 2025 was really about for me. On the driveway front, yeah, I'm having a heck of a time, but I'm at least further than I was last year. I can at least get into the shed. Last year, I had to hand carry everything across the whole entire field and into the shed. Just because I've never done something before does not mean that I can't do it. I think this year has really just pushed me so far beyond what I was comfortable with. I mean, none of this stuff is a computer. I've lived my world has really lived and revolved around computers for so long. And all this is just completely outside my element, but it's so amazing, and it's because it's outside my element, there's just so much for me to learn. And there's going to be things that I'm better at and things that I'm worse at. Ditch digging was definitely not one of my favorite episodes when I was learning how to dig the French drain. And I'm sure that I'm probably not all that great at certain things, but I got out there and I did it. At the end of the year, I really had to start asking for help because I was just getting beyond what I could do. I had tried and tried and tried to do the concrete piers for the shipping container to get dropped onto. And I was messing it up left and right. So I finally just got somebody in that knew what they were doing and they got done. And then the weather changed and I haven't been able to get the rest of the driveway done to get the shipping container. But we'll get there here in 2026. And it's just been so wet and so muddy and the ground just keeps sucking in rock. So I'm talking to some people now in 2026 about like what they can do to help me with like the drainage stuff because I'm not going to be able to. The driveway is just it just is constantly turning into a mud pit. So I'm going to get some help on the drainage stuff this year, and then we'll see. Hopefully, I'll get the shipping container in. And it's not where I want it to be. I had so many visions of being like completely moved over. I thought I was going to be moved over in 2025, and it just didn't happen. But I'm very hopeful that in 2026 it will because I'm starting to learn to ask for help a little bit. And we've made so much progress. They got the pole for the electric has been marked now. So and I've talked to the electrician and he's getting me an estimate and stuff this year. So in 2026 hopefully we'll get electric brought over there. Once I get the shipping container in, we're gonna get the well and the whatever. I don't know if I'll do a septic right away because that's gonna be a challenge. So we're gonna be living in travel trailers for at least the immediate, so I might not get actual septic right away. But the electrician knew somebody that I could talk to about and ask all these kind of questions about. So and then there's so much going on too with developing the property for the training center and all the stuff I want to do with the search and rescue stuff. And in 2025, I actually started being able to open at least a version of the training center, obviously not the full training center, because I'm still working on like basic things like the driveway. And we don't have like running water or any of that kind of stuff. So it's kind of hard to have a training center that way. But we started having open trainings and I started being able to have people up and we've worked on training the dogs. And at those open trainings, we were able to get some certifications and stuff done for different dogs. And on the dog front, like in Indy, who's my HRD dog, was able to get certified and stuff. So she passed a couple HRD tests this year, which was awesome. Teddy, my older Lifeline dog, managed to pass his first certification, and in 2026, he's going to be working on the rest of his certification. And since Indy is a lot older, and I needed a dog coming behind her, I got Teddy also introduced to HRD this year, which is important. And I got both him and Indy signed up for some training seminars next year, which it's been a long time since I've been able to do a training seminar. I've struggled with my health very badly for the last several years, and this year really saw some turning points. So I signed up Indy to do some water work so that she can learn how to like she's done really good when I've had her on the boats and stuff before, but I wanted to do like a formal training session on it. So I signed her up for some of that, and I signed Teddy up for some more a nice HRD seminar for later in the year. So those two made good progress this last year too, like this last year, and I'm really excited for what we're going to be able to accomplish with both of them in 2026. Leaving 2024, I had lost my lab. Indy and Teddy are both German Shepherds, but I had lost my lab at the end of 2024, and I was kind of really heartbroken because she was just amazing. And while I love my Shepherds and I couldn't be without them, I mean I will probably always have Shepherds. I really liked having a lab around the house. A crazy, high energy, happy, wag the tail all the time kind of dog, right? So, and I was fortunate that Ellie's breeder had another litter of puppies with Ellie's sister. So I brought home a little baby phoenix. And we called her Phoenix, kind of rising up from the ashes of everything that happened with Ellie at the end. And she has been keeping me very busy. She has been like quite the challenge. Tons of play drive, tons of excitement and happiness and goofiness and puppiness. And she tortures the adult dogs. They are struggling with her. We're all struggling to get struggling to get her introduced to the adult dogs because she likes to pet them of all things. She likes to pet them and jump on them and otherwise torture them. So I have to kind of keep them separated. So then that's made it a little hard to do other things like YouTube videos in the evening because she's bouncing around and running all over the place with her own time and stuff. So she's definitely been quite the challenge, but she is starting to get a little bit more mature. She's still pretty young, but she's starting to do really good. And it's been just awesome just watching her progress on her search and rescue training and stuff. She's already got a speak on command, which she's going to be a bark and hold live find dog, so she's already got a speak on command, and we're starting to pair that, and she's understanding the game of going and finding the person. Her biggest challenge so far has just really been she's still a puppy and she gets very, very distracted very, very easily. So I gotta struggle to keep her attention and stuff with things. So we're just doing short little things. But towards the end here of 2025, I started being able to do a little bit more obedience and stuff with her. So she's progressing along nicely, and I'm really, really hopeful that I can get her certified pretty young here. They have to be at least 18 months though in order to do their certifications and stuff and start. But so all that stuff is really great, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to 2026. I'm really hoping to get all the dogs out to more seminars, and I'm really, really hoping that 2026 is the year that I can really do a big launch on my search and rescue ideas and stuff. And just some of the ideas I have really combine technology type things with the all the normal things like ground pounders and search dogs and stuff. And I want to play a lot with like the drone technology has really grown a lot. So we're going to play around with some of the drone stuff too this year. So it's really, really, really exciting. Very, very much excited about getting that stuff all done. But in order to get the training center started, you have to have like some of the basics like water and a road to get in there. So that's hopefully what 2026 has in store as far as like the homestead and search and rescue stuff. I had started making YouTube videos, like I think probably towards the end of 2024 is really when I started really getting a little bit more serious with it. And I was planning to make a lot of videos in 2025 and really keep pushing the YouTube stuff forward. And with the baby, just the puppy just being all over everything and just being so difficult to do things with her around and stuff, I really didn't get there. But I think the YouTube stuff was actually really cool because it forced me to really video a lot more. So I do have a lot of video footage and stuff, and it forced me to do a lot more. So instead of when I traveled, instead of going, oh, I'll just stay in the hotel room and like just kind of hang out, I was like, no, I want to go make some cool videos. So we're gonna go explore wherever we are. So really, I always like exploring at least to some extent, but when I've been so ill in the past, it's been really challenging. But I pushed myself a lot this year to try to really explore some stuff, and I saw some really cool things. I visited a couple of caverns and stuff. I got to see Dinosaur Land, which was a little hokey, but hey, it was kind of cute, whatever, right? Um, and I got to visit Epcot, which I was actually really disappointed in it. It really did not live up to my memories as a kid. But I made the effort and I went up there and I saw it and I'm glad I got to see it again, right? Because it's been a little like I was really young when I saw it the last time. So one of the other things I was able to see when I was in Florida was a really cool zoo. I think it's the Brevard Zoo, but it really was an amazing zoo. I mean, it was a smaller size zoo, but they really packed in a lot and had a lot of animals, and they did it in a really well way. And I also saw an Olympic museum when I was up in Colorado. 2025, I also did a fair amount of astronomy stuff, although I definitely fell off as summer kind of went. Um, we started off strong at NEAF and getting to see that, and then we kind of dabbled. I kind of dabbled a little bit here and there, but once it started getting late, like so much later, I just couldn't keep up with doing the astronomy stuff. But I'm really hopeful in 2026 that I could do more. But it was really good to like the travel and the adventures and the astronomy and stuff. It's all stuff that's just continually learning. And you never know like what you're gonna like what you can use later. So I think that's kind of like my biggest motto is just always just like, learn as much as you can.